Tonight at 10 o'clock, it's Fox News First.
Good evening, I'm Tom Butler. A horrific discovery for police as they find 6 children dead in their home. Plus, if you suffer from depression, a psychologist may not be the answer. Fox News First is next.
It's 10 o'clock. Time for news. Now, from Fox 31, this is Rochester's only live 10 o'clock newscast. Fox News First.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Donna has the night off. First on Fox, the search for wreckage, bodies, and clues in the Swissair crash off Nova Scotia continues tonight. Crews scoured the chilly Atlantic waters in an effort to find the flight data recorders from Swissair Flight 111. As Fox's Shepard Smith reports, investigators are hoping the recorders will pinpoint exactly what went wrong.
5 miles off the coast of Nova Scotia, the painstaking process of recovery drags on. The doomed jet reduced to bits. The largest fragment located so far the size of a car hood. At dock, it's all hauled away in trash bags to be analyzed for any evidence of why the crash happened. The search site is now only 1 mile square, but if it floats, it's spreading for miles in every direction.
Even to where in some communities in the area, partial body parts and human remains are, say, washing ashore.
The victims collected at sea, placed in white bags, transported by refrigerated truck to a makeshift morgue. Today, their family members arrived to identify the remains.
All efforts are being made so that they can do that in the most dignified fashion.
Today, some relatives walked along the rocky shore of this fog-draped village at the closest spot on land to the crash site. And at seashore, a ceremonial washing of the hands in the water which now cradles a loved one's body. Their grieving is just beginning, their emotions so hard to control, their questions not yet answered. And the first of those answers will come when the investigators find the black box, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. It's beneath the sea somewhere. Today they sent out a submarine with sophisticated listening devices to try and find it. It should be emitting a pinging sound. They haven't located it so far in an investigation which will most likely take weeks, even months. In Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia, Shepard Smith, Fox News.
When a tragedy like this happens, obviously the families of the victims are left with a lot to deal with. It becomes the task of the counselor to help them through their ordeal. A local counselor who was there in the aftermath of TWA Flight 800 knows all too well what these families are going through.
Sometimes you have people who are very hysterical and, require something right away, and others who become more withdrawn.
Local Red Cross volunteer Carol Graham knows what hell the families of the victims of the Swissair crash are going through. She was there 2 years ago to help families deal and cope with the loss of their loved ones when TWA Flight 800 met a similar fate. So what do you say? What could you say to a family who just lost their beautiful 21-year-old daughter in a plane crash?
A lot of times you don't need to say anything. They need to talk to you. They want to talk about this person. They want to tell you what they were like and why they're going to be missed and that type of thing. And having someone who will listen and not try to make things better and say, oh, down the road this will. You try to prepare them for what they may experience.
And what they experience is what you might expect. Sorrow, disbelief, anger, guilt in some cases, and a number of other emotions. But some of their needs are what you might not expect.
They want the body. That's a key in helping them recover also, is if you can recover the body, that really helps. But yes, they want to know why. And while their intellectual self, if you could separate it from their emotional self, might understand that that takes time at the time of the crisis, they want it then and now, and they don't understand the delays, and they don't understand why you don't have the answers now.
Graham worked directly with 2 families of TWA Flight 800. In both cases, the bodies of their loved ones were eventually found. Since then, she says she's had little and no contact by design. She says it's part of the healing process and that it's essential for the families to move on. Another tragic flight, this time in Nevada. 12 people aboard 2 Air Force helicopters died today in a fiery crash. It happened this morning at Nellis Air Force Base. Officials say the two choppers were involved in a routine training mission when they collided in midair. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. The holiday weekend is here, and millions of travelers have taken to the roadways bound for a last summer hurrah. Experts say driving has become the transportation of choice for the three-day weekend. As Fox News First reporter Shawn Killinger says, there's a good reason as to why.
They're fueling up and getting ready to hit the holiday road.
I'm leaving now, going to Albany, going up to the Toronto Zoo.
On my way to Washington, D.C.
We're heading on 90 East right now, and we're going to go to Little Falls.
And with some 30 million motorists nationwide expected to get behind the wheel this holiday weekend, there's some good news awaiting them at gas tanks.
Gas prices are about 19 cents less per gallon than they were this time last year. And that's fantastic news for Rochester, for the Rochester area.
Especially since Rochester has long grappled with higher gas prices. But while getting cheaper gas for your trip won't be a problem this weekend, getting to your destination may be.
We're going to see more congestion on the roads. We're going to see probably the New York State Thruway be a little bit busier. We're going to see the exits probably be a little bit more congested.
Plus, beginning tonight here at this 390 exit near Scottsville Road, state police are going to be out in force, stopping holiday drivers at DWI checkpoints.
And throughout the weekend on the major highways, all in an effort to keep things safe and sober for Labor Day travelers. Shawn Killinger, Fox News First.
And there's good news at the gas pumps after the holiday weekend. Prices are expected to continue dropping. A happy homecoming tonight for 13-year-old Marvin Kellum. He's battled a bad heart all of his life. Tonight, the Rochester teen returned from Boston, where he received a heart transplant last month. After months of waiting, doctors finally found a donor for Marvin. Less than an hour ago, his friends and family greeted him with open arms at the airport.
I've been in the hospital a long time, and I'm just glad to be home. A miracle. My baby is a miracle. Yeah, and he's doing good, doing real good. So I'm just glad to have him come back home. So.
Marvin hopes to begin 7th grade in the fall. A water main break in Palmyra has prompted an advisory for the town. As a precaution, the Wayne County Health Department is asking residents to boil all water before use or buy bottled water. Are you sick of being sick from allergies? Kind of a rhetorical question. Unfortunately, the season's not over yet. And why has it seemed like it's been going on for so long? Fox News First reporter Nancy Goldsmith finds out.
Itchy eyes and itchy nose and itchy ears that you want to rip out of your face.
Sound familiar? With allergy season in full swing, the woes are getting worse.
About 2 weeks ago, it just hit. And I said, whoa, my quality of living really changed.
Carol Sullivan is not alone. Today, she's hoping doctors can find a medicine that will alleviate her allergies. The cause of her misery appears harmless, but it's not.
This is ragweed. This is ragweed.
This season, ragweed pollen seems like it's causing more frustration than it normally does. Dr. Donald Pulver says there's an explanation.
This year, because of El Nino, we started back here in February, and we had this running start to the allergy tree season.
Because of the running start, people became affected by allergens early on. That's why they're even more sensitive to the ragweed now. Each plant can release up to 1 million spores at once.
The levels are not up there high like a Mark McGuire record. They really are consistently high level.
Pulver says he's been prescribing more medicine, seeing more new patients, and even had to add 2 new doctors to his staff because of the caseload. So when is the sneezing going to stop? It looks like there won't be any relief in sight until we have 3 consecutive nights of temperatures well below the freezing mark.
If La Nina comes in, we are supposed to have an early frost and a cold, hard winter. Time will tell what the weather does, but it all depends on Mother Nature.
Nancy Goldsmith, Fox News First.
Later in the show, we'll give you a website address that has pollen counts each day and what it means for your allergies. Well, it's time for our first night flight. Meteorologist Howard Bernstein's here, and Howard's been grabbing the tissues for the last couple of months, huh, Howard?
Yeah, I can't wait for those freezing nights to get rid of some of this allergy weather. But, we can't complain. It's been a pretty good summer. Haven't hit 90 yet, and as we head toward the Labor Day weekend, really a good start to the weekend today. Some cloudiness at times, but generally a partly sunny to partly cloudy day, and we've got just about a full moon tonight. And I think as this high pressure out to our west moves toward us, it's going to keep that good weather going, at least through part of the weekend. There are some raindrops coming toward us. I'll tell you more about that later with that 7-day Futurecast.
Coming up, a horrific discovery as 6 children are found dead in their home. The story when we come back.
This is Fox News First, sponsored by Sage Ruddy. You're watching Fox News First, Rochester's 10 o'clock news with Donna Dedee, Tom Butler, meteorologist Howard Bernstein, and John DiTullio with Fox Sports.
Taking a look at news around the country, 6 children are dead after police found their bodies inside a Minnesota home. Authorities found the 3 boys and 3 girls ranging in ages from 5 to 11. They were lying inside the doorway with their mother. The mother has been taken into custody in a hospital, but authorities won't reveal her condition. While the woman has not been charged, police say she is the focus of the investigation.
This was a deliberate act of domestic violence, and very, very tragic. Tragically, we've lost 6 St. Paul children.
Police were familiar with the address. They had been called there at least 15 times in the last 18 months, but they say that there had been no indication the children were ever in danger. Prosecutors in Chicago are dropping their case against 2 young boys accused of murder. The boys, ages 7 and 8, were accused of killing an 11-year-old girl. They were charged after admitting to police they attacked the girl and dragged her to a wooded area. But a crime lab report issued to prosecutors today shows that evidence on the girl's clothing most likely did not come from either boy. Pilots continue to strike against Northwest Airlines tonight. Tomorrow, they're scheduled to meet with management and federal regulators in Chicago. Neither side expects to agree on anything except a date for future negotiations. More than 27,000 Northwest employees have been temporarily laid off since the pilots went on strike nearly a week ago. After all we've heard about unions clashing with management, some local workers are showing that they can work together. This morning, many of Rochester's contractors and major trade unions announced they have formed a new partnership called Unicon. Officials say it will bring about a new era of construction, one that should ensure safety, quality, and peace of mind.
There's only a handful of these types of programs in the country. There's a couple in this state, but this is very unusual for upstate, and it's very unique in the country.
Unicon plans to begin promoting their cause with a number of job fairs. Coming up, we'll tell you why the 60s conspiracy theorists may have some new fuel for their fire when it comes to the Kennedy assassination.
This is Fox News First, sponsored by Uniform Village.